So design of reinforced concrete structure, first unit is the introduction. In that we are going to have a lecture 6 on again limit state of flexure 2. Okay, so if you if you see, one second, I will just now this stress diagram, stress block is given in figure 22 of IS 456 in page number 69, I believe, where the total compressive force resisted by this concrete B of size B and the depth XU. Remember, this compressive force is resisted only by the concrete in the compression zone, not in the tension zone. So whatever concrete available in the compression zone, that resists this much force, 0.36 FCK XU into B, and this force act at a distance of 0.42 XU, where XU is the depth of neutral axis. Now we will see how to derive this part, because sometime in the examination they do ask to derive these two quantities. What is the total compressive force and at what distance it acts from the top fiber. Okay, so now how to achieve this one? For example, compression stress distribution in the cross section. Let us say this is your beam. This is the length of the beam. This is the cross sectional width of the beam, and this is the overall depth of the beam. Okay. Now, whatever stress distribution you saw in the previous this stress distribution, this stress will act on the cross section. That's what it is shown in here in isometric view. So, for 3/7 XU from the top compression fiber, these stresses are rectangle. From 3/7 XU unto the neutral axis depth, that is XU. This is the neutral axis depth. This is a parabolic variation. So same thing is shown in here. This 0.447 FCK is this value, and this rectangle part is 3/7 XU, and below this part is 4/7. From here to here, 4/7 XU. That is varies parabolically, and this stress distribution acts in the cross section of the beam. Many times people get confused where the stress is acting, so they don't know. That's why I'm representing practically in an isometric view. This stress is acting on the cross section of the beam. Is there clear? Is there anyone having any doubt? If you have any doubt, please one of you answer. If you have any doubt, please answer, because it is very important to understand to proceed further. This stress distribution acts in the cross section of the beam. This one is a neutral axis, that is why it is a neutral axis. Below that there is no stress taken by the concrete, because below this neutral layer, concrete, this is all tensile zone. In tensile zone, concrete does not take any stresses. That is why there is nothing below it. But above the neutral axis, concrete take very active part in taking the compressive forces. So total compression resisted by the concrete is this much only. So this stress distribution is this much. Now, how to calculate the total compressive force? So here, this I am in the front elevation. I have shown it. So you have a rectangular stress distribution. This is remember 0.447 FCK here, and this is a parabolic distribution. Now, this rectangular stress will act in the cross sectional area of width B, and the height is 3/7 XU, right? This is 3/7 XU, and this is B. Similarly, this parabolic part will act to a height of 4/7 XU. The cross sectional width remains same, and this is the total cross section. This is the elevation, and this is side view, and this is the stress corresponding area of cross sectional area in which this stress acts. This yellow color area or magenta area is the area in which the parabolic part of the stress will act. Now, so again, this is the cross section of the beam. Now V is the width of the, this B should be a small b, it's not a capital B. T is the overall depth of the beam, and this small d is the effective depth, which we discussed already. This is a neutral axis depth, which is XU, that is XU, and XU is a neutral axis depth, and this is the strain values. 0.0035 extreme compression fiber epsilon Cu, and this is the 0.002, and this strain is epsilon St, strain in the steel in the tensile zone. That is a strain diagram. Now stress diagram, you have this 0.447 FCK at the top. At the bottom, you have this rectangular part is 3 by 7 XU. This is 4 by 7 XU, and this is stress distribution. And this, I am now to derive that C value, I am going to divide these two into two parts. One is a rectangular portion in which the stress is acting is C1. So now in the C1, where does it act? This is the rectangular part. Whatever the force that is acting is C1. Where will be the centroid of this force? That will be half of this value, right? Half of this height. That is 3 by 14 XU. 3 by 7 XU divided by 2 is 3 by 14 XU. Now, next, whatever the force that will be acting on this parabolic part alone. So, in other words, I'm going to show it here. Let us say this is 3 by 7 XU, right? And here your stress is acting, rectangular part is 0.447 FCK, this part. Okay, so these are all constant from here to this depth. For the entire depth, it is only constant, only 0.447 FCK. Now, if you find out the C1, this is the C1. Force means what? Force is equal to average stress multiplied by corresponding area of cross section in which the stress is acting. Area of cross section in which stress is acting. Now, what is the average stress here? One of you tell me. What is the average stress that is acting here? In this in this rectangular part, what is the average stress, total average stress? How much is? I am asking stress, I am not asking force. What is the average stress? Area in which this rectangular portion is acting. This is a rectangular stress distribution. In the cross sectional area, how much is the cross sectional area in the beam? Here the stress, this area of cross section in which this stress is acting is B into 3 by 7 XU. So what is this C1? Okay, that is fine. And at what height it will be acting? This total is 3 by 7 XU. What is the height in which this force will be acting? That is because it's a rectangular distribution, half of this 3 by 14 XU. Okay. Now let us say this is your C2 here. Total compressive force due to this parabolic stress distribution. Now this is 4 by 7 XU. Okay. And this is this value is 0.447 FCK. Is that clear? Now my question is
0.447 FCK by 2, sir.
0.447
FCK by 2.
That is valid only if this is a rectangle, if this is a triangle. If it's a triangle distribution like this, then 0.447 FCK by 2, that is fine. But this is more than a triangle, right? This is not a this is not triangle. This is a parabolic part. Mr. Chakradhar, roll number 5. What is the average stress? Are you there, Mr. Chakradhar?
Yes.
What is the average stress on the parabolic part? Definitely, this will be more than 1/2 because your triangle is only this much. It is more than the triangle, so it should be more than half. and less than 1. What is the area of a parabola? Like this, suppose if you have parabola, okay, this is a rectangle. Now this is a parabola. Sorry, that is okay. This is a rectangle. Now let us say this is the parabola part. What is the area of this parabola?
2 by 3 of length, sir.
Yeah, same
2 by
thing
3.
here also. This also 2 by 3. 0.447 FCK. That is the average stress. What is the corresponding area? What is the area in which it is acting?
B
into
B 4 by 7.
X.
height is 4 by 7 XU. Now the question is, at what distance this C2 will act from the tip?
1 by 3 of
2 by 3 of
Again, you are telling for a triangle.
from the tip it is.
See, this is not a triangle, this is a parabola. It is not 1 by 3 or 2/3. This is the C2. Okay. I am asking at what height it will act. Don't tell it is 2/3 because it is not a triangle. In applied mechanics semester studied, and I myself taught in your SM1 for in a deflection unit.
5 by 8 of that 4.
5 by 8 of this height. 5 by 8 of height is 4 by 7 XU. Okay, so that's what I mentioned here. So C1 is acting at a distance of XU by this one, and C2 is acting at a distance of 5 by 8 of this height 4 by 7 XU. Now point is we have to find out C1 and C2, and this is the total tensile force, okay, taken by the steel. So this is stress. Now in the next slide you will see these are all repetition of same thing. So this is the stress acting on this rectangular block, and this is the force, corresponding force, which is acting at a distance of 3 by 14 XU. So C1 is what? Average stress in rectangular, this rectangular force and average stress is how much? 0.447 FCK, and corresponding area is, it is hatched here. You see, this is the corresponding area in which it is acting. So C1 is equal to average stress, this average stress is 0.447 FCK multiplied by this area is 3 by 7 XU is the height of this one, and width is B. So that is this one. So if you calculate, it's coming C1 is equal to 0.191 FCK XU into B. Similarly, C2 is acting in this parabolic part, that is C2. Now how will you find out this C2? That is acting at a 5 by 8 4 by 7 XU. So C2 is average stress in parabolic part, and the corresponding area is this area, this pink area. So C2 is 2 by 3.447 FCK is the average stress on this part, multiplied by corresponding area here, this pink color hatched one, that area is 4 by 7 XU into B. If you calculate, C2 is coming out to be 0.17 FCK XU into B. So total C will be, total compressive force is equal to C1 plus C2. So if you add these things together, you will get 0.361 FCK XUB. So that is represented as 0.36 FCK XUB. Is that clear? Any doubt in this one? Anybody? If you have doubt, please ask. Okay, if there are none, I will continue further. So now this C1 and C2 is equal to is represented as total compressive force C. This C1 plus C2 is represented as compressive force. Now how will you find out this x bar? How to find out this x bar? For that you take a moment of all this compressive force, this C, this C1 and this C2 from this top compression fiber. So take a moment of compressive forces from extreme compression fiber. So I am going to take moment of this force C1, I am going to take moment of this force C2. If you take this, sum of these moment should be equal to moment of this one. So C into x bar, C into x bar will be equal to C1 into 3 by 14 xu, because this is C1 and perpendicular distance is 3 by xu 14, 3 by 14 xu plus C2 into what is this height? Total height is xu, from here to here xu. So what is this height? Xu minus this height, 5 by 8, 4 by 7 xu. Now C1 and C2 you already know. C1 is 0.191 FCK, that all this thing. C2 is 0.19 something. In the previous slide we have seen C1 and C2. If you substitute for C1 and C2 and this for C is 0.36 FCK XUB, then you will get, so this X is coming out to be 0.4 XU. If you substitute in this C, C1, C2, you will get 0.4 to XU. Okay, so next, that is we proved C is equal to 0.36 FCK XU into B, and it is acting at a distance of 0.4 to XU. Okay, and this T is equal to stress in the steel. Stress in the steel is actually it is supposed to be 1 second. This stress in the steel should be strain in the steel multiplied by the area of steel. Okay, now we take FST as 0.87 Fy only when this steel gets yielded. So that we will discuss later on. But for now, actually it is FST into AST, where FST is the stress in the steel. When the steel is fully yielded, that value is 0.8. Actually, Fy divided by 1.15 is the design strength of steel. Fy is the yield strength of steel, divided by partial safety factor for steel is 1.15. So that will come 0.87 Fy. So at the time of failure, the stress in the steel will be 0.87 Fy. AST is nothing but area of steel provided. For example, let us say these are all 20 mm diameter. Okay, then if it is 3 numbers of this is 120, this is 120 mm, this is 120 mm, then you will find out AST is equal to 3 into pi by 4, 20 square. So you will find out this is 314, I think 342 millimeters. Sorry, 42, 942 something it will come. Okay. So that is your AST, area of steel multiplied by stress in the steel will give you total tensile force. Okay. Now how to find out the next parameter, actual depth of neutral axis. Now here you see, to find out actual depth of neutral axis, what you will see is that you will take this stress diagram. You have a total compressive force as 0.36 FCK XUB and total tensile force is 0.87 Fy into AST. For a section to be in equilibrium, you will take compressive force is equal to tensile force. So for the body to be in equilibrium, compressive force should be equal to tensile force. So you have 0.36 FCK XUB is the compressive force, 0.87 Fy into AST is the tensile force. So FCK is the grade of steel, B is the width of the section, Fy is the characteristic strength of steel, AST is the provided AST, XU is the only unknown, that is the actual depth of neutral axis. So you can find out XU as you take all this term on the other side, 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCK B. In most of the book they will write, for a easy sake, they will write XU by D. Why? Because this is the area of steel, right? This is the area of steel. This is the characteristic strength of steel. So this is that factor. Now here also there is a factor, and this FCK is the characteristic strength of concrete. If you put into D here, like here it is put to D, it will become a cross-sectional area of a total concrete beam. That is why both sides D is ordered. Okay. So XU by D is equal to 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCK B into D. And this equation is given in page number 96 of your code. Now I will show you your code. You go to the page number 96. Here you see rectangular section without compression reinforcement, because right now we are not dealing with compression reinforcement at all. We are dealing only with tensile reinforcement. To determine the depth of neutral axis from the following equation, XU by D is equal to 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCK B into D. This equation is given in annexure G. That is moment of resistance for a rectangular and a T section, and this is the neutral axis depth formula. Okay, so this is there. Now going further, so this is the second one. Actual depth of neutral axis XU is given by this formula. Remember, now somebody asks you what is this 0.36 FCK. If somebody asks, what will you tell? XU into B is, this is B, this is XU. That is a cross section of concrete in the compression zone. What is this 0.36 FCK? What is this 0.36 FCK? Any idea? What is this 0.36 FCK? If somebody asks you, because many times in the interview it is asked, what is this 0.36? Somebody is answering, please answer.
Sir,
Yes, yes.
FCK by factor of safety 2.7.
No, that is not correct. So what does that mean is, you can mute yourself, Mr. Siva. Siva, na?
I'm muted, sir.
Okay. So what is that 0.36 FCK means? See, somebody has not muted, please mute. Okay, so this is 0.4, this is the stress 0.447 FCK, and this is sorry. This is 0. Now, if you draw a equivalent stress diagram of a uniform stress, this is a rectangle. This is a rectangle, okay? If you do this, if you change this into a rectangular one, the width of this is 0.36 FCK. Is that clear? So from this combination of rectangle and parabola, if you want to take just a rectangle one, height will remain same, only the width will be, instead of 0.447, you will get 0.36 FCK. That is why this is the average stress. This 0.36 FCK is the average stress. This 0.36 FCK multiplied by XU into B will give you the total compressive force 0.36 FCK XUB. Is that clear, everyone? This 0.36 FCK factor is the average stress in the limit state method for the entire neutral axis depth. Okay. Okay. So next, third one is ultimate moment of resistance, that is MUR. How will you find out ultimate moment of resistance? See, moment of resistance is found So in the cross section, all these formula, the first formula limiting depth of neutral axis we found from the strain diagram. In the second formula, actual depth of neutral axis we found out from this stress distribution diagram by considering the equilibrium of the compressive and tensile force. Now again, to find out ultimate moment of resistance, it is defined by M suffix UR. Remember, this is the resistance offered by the concrete. This is the resistance offered by the steel, and these both will form a couple or moment, and this is called resisting moment. So whatever the moment that is produced due to externally applied load will be resisted by this moment. That is why it is called moment of resistance. These two forces, this is a resistance offered by the concrete, this is a resistance offered by the steel, and these two forces together will constitute a moment or a couple, and that is called moment of resistance. So if you take here, this is from here to here, the depth is effective depth d, and from here to here it is 0.42 XU. So naturally this height, the difference in height between these two forces is called Z, which is called d minus 0.42 XU. Okay, because this from here to here it is d, and this height is 0.42 XU. So obviously this height, the distance between these two forces, d minus 0.42 XU. Now this jet is called a lever arm. The distance between these two forces is called a lever arm. So if you want lever arm, this is the distance between the line of action of resultant compression and the line of action of resultant tension force. That is called lever arm. Now moment of resistance MUR is equal to this resisting moment offered by a beam section to resist the bending moment at the section. MUR is equal to C into Z or T into Z. Either you take moment about this force. If you take moment about this force, it will be C into Z. This will be anti-clockwise direction. That is this one. Or if you take moment about this force, T into this Z. Again, it is also in anti-clockwise direction. So your moment of resistance is equal to, if you apply substitute for C is equal to 0.06 FCK XUB, into Z is D minus 0.42 XU. This is here. Or you can have MUR is equal to 0.87 Fy into AST, that is for T, into Z is D minus 0.42 XU. So it's a very simple one. From the stress diagram, you have a compressive resistive force, tensile resistive force. You take moment about either of the force, you will get the moment of resistance of the beam. But there is a condition when to use this formula and when to use this formula, that we will see while solving the problem or in some time in while. Now, if you take, because we already know XU value from the previous, the second equation, XU is given. So if you take this XU, if you substitute for this XU value and you reduce it, you will get this equation, 0.87 for example. So what equation here you have is MUR is equal to 0.87 Fy AST into D minus 0.42 XU. Now from the previous one, you know X is equal to 0.87 Fy into AST divided by 0.36 FCK B. Now for this XU, you substitute this one. That is, instead of XU, you substitute this one. You will get, and you take this D out. So you will get MUR is equal to 0.87 Fy AST. I am taking D outside. So you have 1 minus 0.42. And because here there is no D, so I am putting D here, right? You can multiply and divide by T, and this D has gone out. So 0.42 XU by D. So this will become like this. Okay. For this XU by D, you substitute this one, 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCK B into D. Now, if you multiply this and this and this will be almost 1. So you will get 0.87 Fy AST T into 1 minus Fy into AST divided by FCK into BD. That's what written here. 0.87 Fy AST into D 1 minus Fy into AST divided by FCK into BD. And this equation is also given here. If you see here, if the value of Xu by D is less than limiting value, the calculating the moment of resistance by the following equation. Mu is equal to 0.87 Fy AST D into 1 minus AST by BD. The area of steel, effective area of concrete, this is the characteristic strength of steel, this is the characteristic strength of concrete. This is the moment of resistance. To find out the moment of resistance, you will use this formula. Okay. Okay, that is the ultimate moment of resistance formula. Either you can use this formula or this formula. This and this are one and the same. In the code, you have been given this equation. Okay, so that is there in the code. Now, what is the limiting moment of resistance? What is Mu limit? So, in the previous one, this Xu we are finding out for Xu. Xu is the actual depth of neutral axis. Now, when Xu is equal to Xu limit, when Xu is equal to Xu limit, then whatever Mu you calculate, that will become Mu limit. Okay, in the previous case, you found out Mu. Instead of Xu here, if you substitute Xu limit, then you will get Mu limit. That's what they are saying. So Mu limit is equal to 0.36 FCK Xu limit. Instead of Xu, you have Xu limit into B into D minus 0.42 Xu limit. So what is your original equation, Mu equation? Your original Mu equation is sorry. One second. This and all we have seen it. So your original equation stands for M is equal to 0.36 FCK Xu into B into D minus 0.42 Xu. In this equation, you replace Xu by Xu limit. Here also replace Xu by Xu limit. Then you will get this equation 0.36 Xu B Xu. Instead of Xu you have Xu limit, D minus 0.42. Instead of Xu you have Xu limit. Now you take this D out, this D you take it out. Take this D out of this one, so you will get this formula. You have taken D out, so 1 minus 0.42 Xu limit by D. And I want to make this also divided by T into D. Okay, so here this Xu limit by D. And hello, please mute. Any question?
Sir?
Hello?
Excuse me. Sir.
Yes.
Why are we not using that MUR 0.87 FY as AST? That one.
You can use that also. You can, for finding out the MU limit, you can use that also. Okay, but to find out MU, that I will let you know. This is first you listen to this derivation. I will let you know when to use 0.87 Fy. Okay. Is that clear?
Sure.
I will. Okay. So if you take this D outside and also multiply and divide by D, I will get Xu limit by D. Okay, Xu limit by D here also, Xu limit by D here also. Because why I am doing this Xu limit by D value I know for a different grade of steel. That is why I am taking in terms of Xu limit by D. So now your equation will become this FCK is here, this B is here, this D into D square is here, and this 0.36 FCK, this 0.36 is here, Xu limit by D is here, and this 1 minus 0.40 Xu limit by D is here. I know XC limit by D for various cases. Okay, so if you see in your page number 96 again, this is the equation given. ME limit is equal to 0.36 XU max by D into 1 minus 0.42 XU max by D into BD square FCK. The same thing, whatever we have derived now, this is the value. This is the equation. To find out the limiting moment of resistance, you will be using 0.36 XU max by D into 1 minus 0.42 XU max by D into BD square into FCK. So that's what is this formula. Now you can also reduce further because, sorry, I have to erase this. So ME limit by FCK BD square, that is FCK BD this FCK BD square I brought down. So ME limit by FCK BD square is equal to 0.36 XU limit by D 1 minus 0.42 XU limit by D. So now I know XU limit by D from page number 70 of IS 4/6. If I have FE 250 steel, XU limit by D is 0.53. If I have FE 4/5 steel, I have 0.48 for XU limit by D. Similarly for FE 500. Now if I substitute here in this formula, I will get MU limit by FCK BD square. If we have FE 250, it is 0.148. If I have FE 415, it is 0.138. If I have FE 500, it is 0.133. Remember, this table is not available. This table is not directly available in your code, but you should remember this value because in many of the competitive examination, they will ask you to find out MU limit given that grade of steel and the size of grade of concrete and steel will be given, size of the section will be given. You have to find out MU limit. So if you know this value, you can easily find out. Otherwise, you have to substitute for an XU limit by D for in this equation, and then you have to find out. Okay, so if it is FE 250, ME limit by FCK BD square is 0.148. If it is FE 415, it is 0.138. If it is FE 500, it is 0.133. So easily you can find out. You can find out the limiting moment of resistance for any given beam if you know the grade of steel, that is these things. If you know the grade of concrete, that is FCK, and if you know the effective size of the beam, that is B into D. So D square is here. If you know all these parameters, you can find out what is the limiting moment of resistance of any beam. Okay. Now, sometime, and this 1 second. Sometime this MU limit is written like this. MU limit is equal to 0.148 into FCK into BD square. For example, I am taking this particular case. This 0.148 into FCK is termed as moment of resistance factor. Moment of resistance factor is, if you have FE 415, it will instead of 0.148, you will have 0.138. If you FE 500, you will have 0.133. This factor multiplied by this FCK, that is called moment of resistance factor. So sometimes that is represented as Q, or sometimes that is represented by R. So MU limit is equal to QBD square or RBD square, where Q or R is called moment of resistance factor. Okay, so that is another equation. Now, the last one, limiting percentage of tensile steel. See, you cannot provide any amount of steel that you want in your concrete beam. It is not that if you provide more steel, your concrete beam is going to be more strong. It is completely a wrong conception. You can provide only a steel quantity to only to a certain limit. Beyond that, if you provide, your beam will fail very fast. So that is why we should know how much steel to provided in the concrete. Okay, and also why you should provide less steel is steel cost is almost 70 times the cost of the concrete. So if you provide more steel, you are automatically increasing the cost of your construction. So in order to avoid that, you provide only a minimal amount of steel or very only required amount of steel, so that your structure is safe, and at the same time it is economical also. It's not that if you provide more steel, you are going to get more strong. It is completely wrong idea. So how to derive that? Maximum limiting percentage of tensile steel is given by represented by the symbol PT limit. This is the PT limit. So percentage of tensile steel, limiting percentage of tensile steel is equal to AST limit, area of steel for the limit, limiting. The AST limit means area of steel required for the balanced section or limiting section divided by the effective area of beam multiplied by 100. So 100 AST limit divided by BD is called limiting percentage of tensile steel. This T for tensile, L limit for limiting percentage steel, 100 because you are finding out percentage, that is why you are having 100. This is the ratio of steel divided by ratio of concrete. Okay, that is a limiting percentage of tensile steel. Or in other words, you are finding out what is the percentage of steel provided in terms of cross effective area of concrete. Okay, now how will you find out this AST limit? That comes from area of tensile provided in the beam such that concrete attain its ultimate strength at the extreme compression fiber and tensile steel starts yielding simultaneously. Such a area of tensile steel is called AST limit. So remember, in the strain diagram we saw this is epsilon Cu. This is 0.0035 maximum strain in the concrete. This is the strain in the steel, that is epsilon St, which is given by Fy divided by 1.15 Young's modulus of steel plus 0.002. You provide a steel in such a way that your concrete also attaining this value, simultaneously steel also attaining this value. Then at that time, whatever AST you provided, that is called AST limit. Okay, and how to find out that? You know the original equation in the from the stress diagram, 0.36 compressive force equal to tensile force, 0.36 FCK XUB is equal to 0.87 Fy by AST. This is the compressive force is equal to tensile force. Now in this, if you replace XU by XC limit. XC limit means balanced section. I will tell you what is balanced section means. The section in which concrete attain its ultimate strain and steel also starts yielding at the same time. Such a neutral axis depth is called limiting neutral axis depth, that is XU limit. 0.87 Fy. So if XU become XC limit, this AST will become AST limit. So from this you can find out AST limit by BD is equal to 0.36 FCK XC limit 0.87 Fy by D. Okay, so from this equation you can easily draw this one. So AST limit by BD you substitute here. So PT limit by this PT limit by 100 is equal to AST limit by 100 BD. That AST limit by BD is here. So from this you can find out PT limit is equal to, you multiply this one 0.36 divided by 0.87 into 100 into FCK by Fy into XC limit by D. So you have to remember this also not given in your code. In some books they may say PT limit is equal to, in some book PT limit is written as 41.6 and rest of the thing same, FCK divided by Fy XC limit by D. Now for anything, if you know grade of concrete, this is FCK. If you know grade of steel, Fy, and XC limit by D for a particular grade of steel, you know. So you can find out what is the PT limit percentage. So these are all the various equations that you should know. Most of the equations are there. So here it is summarized. Important equation from concrete stress strain curve. First one is you saw limiting depth of neutral axis, which is given in page number 70, XC limit by D, that is 0.53, 0.48, 0.46. And then you saw actual depth of neutral axis, that is XU by D is equal to 0.87 Fy AST and this factor 0.36 FCK BD. Again, which is given in page number 96 of IS 456. This is the class number. G is annexure G 1.1 equation A. Then ultimate moment of resistance mu is equal to given to 0.87 Fy AST D into 1 minus Fy AST FCKBD. This is given in the same page in 1.1.B. And then you have a limiting moment of resistance, that is mu limit FCKBD square 0.36 SC limit, all these things, which is given as G 1.1C in page number 96. And finally, limiting percentage of steel, which is 41.38 or 41.6. You can use either FCK Fy into XU limit by D. Okay, we will stop here for this lecture. Now, I want to know, is there any doubt to anybody?